So just a couple months ago, I posted a video about a white bison. Well, I'm out here at Frontier Park in Hays, Kansas, and I have a treat to show you. So right behind me is a white bison cow, and she just had a bison calf just about 2 weeks ago. The video that we previously posted about 2 months ago was about a white bison, and that was at a sale barn, and most likely that white bison at that sale barn had some Charolais cow gene in them. A lot of times what happens today when you see white bison, they're not true white bison. There are people out there that take a bison and they'll breed it with a white cow, which typically is a Charolais cow. Then what they do is they take that crossbred bison cow and they breed it to another bison, and to another bison, and to another bison, and on down the generations. And what happens is that white gene is actually dominant, and it carries that white gene, and it gets to a point to where it looks mostly like a bison, but it just has a little bit of that cattle gene in them to where it makes them white. This bison out here is not that. This is a true white buffalo. The white bison or buffalo that are bred and are crossed, the National Bison Association completely frowns upon that, and so do I. I think that bison should be bison and they should be left alone, and that is why this animal, these two animals, are so special.
Each year, this bison herd welcomes new calves to the delight of each person who stops in Frontier Park. Thanks to a local rancher, a rare white bison named Ghostbuster joined the herd in the summer of 2017. This area was home to the largest herd of bison in North America, estimated in the millions at one time. The importance of the bison to the Native Americans of the area should not be overlooked. The natives depended upon the bison for food, shelter, clothing, and tools. They fought hard when millions of the animals were slaughtered as a result of the intrusion of the railroad and settlers. A white buffalo or white bison is an American bison possessing white fur and is considered sacred or spiritually significant in several Native American religions. The coats of buffalo are almost always brown and their skin a dark brown or black. However, white buffalo can result from one of several physical conditions. They may be albinos, in which case they will remain unpigmented throughout their lives, and may also have hearing and vision problems. They may be leucistic, with white fur but blue eyes, instead of the pink seen in albinos. They may have a rare genetic condition which causes a buffalo to be born white, but to become brown within a year or two as it matures. They may be a beefalo, a bison cattle crossbreed, and thus have inherited the white coloration from their cattle ancestry. White buffalo are extremely rare. The National Bison Association has estimated that they only occur in approximately 1 out of every 10 million births. Leucism and albinism are often difficult to tell apart, since the conditions share some of the same characteristics. While albinism refers to the complete lack of melanin, the natural pigment that gives skin, feathers, hair, and eyes its color, leucism involves a partial loss of pigmentation. Animals with albinism are white or pale in color over their entire bodies, but also have eyes that are pale, pink, or red in color, while animals with leucism often have partially white or patchy features with darker eyes. Albinism in animals occurs when an individual member of species inherits a mutated gene from both parents that interferes with their body's ability to produce melanin. These inherited genetic traits are all recessive and must be inherited from both parents, who don't necessarily have to have albinism themselves. With all the obstacles that animals must overcome to survive in the wild, those with albinism have it much worse. Their loss of pigmentation make it difficult to camouflage, to avoid predators, or hunt for food, and often gives them reduced vision. The condition also increases their exposure to harmful ultraviolet light and can make it more difficult to find a mate. Unfortunately, their rarity also puts them in amplified danger to poachers as well. For this reason, albino members that are discovered in the wild are sometimes captured and brought to zoos or sanctuaries for their own protection. Animals that are white in color are often mistaken for having albinism when they actually have leucism. Leucism results in a reduction in all types of pigments, not just melanin. So an animal with leucism may either have pale or muted colors or have irregular patches of white. Like albinism, leucism is inherited, though the severity and positioning of the muted colors can vary between parents and offspring, or even skip generations in the case of recessive genes. Some leucistic animals have very little differences from those with albinism. Often the simplest way to tell animals with leucism apart from albinism is to look at the eyes. The former will have dark colored eyes rather than red or pink. A bird with leucism, for example, may be completely white or patchy, but still have melanin in its system, as the genetic mutation only applies to melanin pigment in some or all of the feathers rather than an absence of melanin in the entire body. Even the partial reduction of pigment can serve similar disadvantages as albinism. Since animals with leucism are easier to spot by predators and may not be recognized or accepted by other members of the species, leucistic traits in birds may cause feathers to weaken and affect flight as well. Researchers estimate the rate of albinism in animals to be anywhere from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in a million, though it's believed to be more common in bird, reptile, and amphibian species. Since individual animals with albinism tend to have minimal or no vision and solid white skin or fur, making them more susceptible to predation, the animals are less likely to survive long enough to breed and pass the genetic condition on to offspring. Leucism is also rare in animals, though it's more common than albinism. The reduction in color still makes them more vulnerable due to their inability to camouflage or to blend in with the rest of their population, but it's not necessarily a death sentence, depending upon severity.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.